Hello, everybody. Mike Donahue here, and you are on Monday Night with Mike. I have to apologize to you. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks because I've been kind of rethinking what I want to do with this. Every week I've been coming on and talking about the schools I did in the past, which I still will do that, and then just kind of adding a little thing. But I thought I want to do something a little bit more intense. So I brought on an expert. I brought on a person, a student. I thought, you know what? I'm old. I'm pretty relatable, but I'm old, and so I wanted to bring on somebody who I trust. Who is she's kind of family actually, but that's not exactly why I brought her on. But I did her school. It's Blue Hill High School in Nebraska, and we just became fast friends. We were already, related because she's my wife's sister's sister-in-law's daughter. Oh my God. Yeah, put that on a Venn chart. Anyways, so she is that girl. Her name is Delaney Spencer. So Delaney, say hello.
Hello.
She's awesome. She's a junior, right? You're a junior.
Yep.
You're a junior
Yes.
at Blue Hill High School. So I wanted to bring her on, but before her and I kind of unpack some stuff here and talk a little bit about, teenage stuff and whatever. I want to first of all just give a shout out to the schools I was at last couple of weeks. I was up in Michigan, and I'm going to talk about this guy in a minute. His name is Matt. Well, it's two now. I was at this school last week. Matt, or 2 weeks ago, Matt Hamilton just got voted last night Teacher of the Year, National Teacher of the Year from the teachers unions. Probably one of the most prestigious awards you can win as a teacher. I've known him for years. I went up and did a school assembly 17 years ago, and they had a tragedy up there. There's a couple of student deaths, and so they brought us in there. We spent a couple of days in there working with him and working with the people there, and it was amazing. And Matt started this thing called the Shoe Club. So my presentation, I talk about walking around in other people's shoes. Matt took that, ran with it, started this incredible program called the Shoe Club, and got nationally recognized because of it. I still go up there. I went up there, like I said, a couple weeks ago. I was up there. I go up there every couple of years and do some stuff with them. We're actually, Matt and I, are working on a national shoe club type of thing. It's amazing what this guy has done, and he's one of the coolest guys, neatest human beings. And so I was there. Then the week after that, actually, I came home and I was sick. I had the sniffles, but I'm better now. But I went from there to Colorado, and I was at TCA, the Classical Academy. I had a blast with those guys. Ended up running into a student that raised his hand at the end of the assembly, and he said, "Hey, were you a youth pastor in Illinois?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "My mom was in your youth group." That's how old I am. And so I ended up reconnecting with her a little bit, and actually got on her podcast the next day. She has a podcast for parents. It was weird. And so I was on that. It was great. And then went from there into up in the mountains into this high school. It was great. Had a good time up there. It was weird. They had that, you'll see this picture. There's a guy, it's like this mountaineer guy. I took a picture of me in front of it, but great week. Had a good time. Real proud of Matt and what they're doing up there and all that stuff. So, all right, Delaney, here we go. So I asked Delaney like last week. I said, Delaney, would you be willing to come on and just talk, about being a teenager? And I've got some questions and some things we kind of want to do. But first of all, I spoke at your school about a year ago. I actually did it again this year. But the
Mhm.
first time I was there, you knew us coming because it people had talked about it.
Mhm.
Jared, our
Yeah.
nephew, or your cousin, my nephew. Yeah. So tell us, like, what was your impression of the assembly when you first saw me do that?
Um, Going into it, I did not have an open mind at all because most assemblies, you sit there and you're just waiting for it to be done. Like, you're glad you get out of class, but you're just like, okay, I'm not going to listen. I'm just going to wait for it to be done.
Yeah.
But your opening and everything just kind of immediately, like, brought me in. Like, obviously, I was excited because I know you already, but it was like I didn't expect much. And no offense, but I just didn't. And
That's all right.
it kind of just brought me in right away. I was like, okay, you have a different way of talking. You talk to us and not at us. I know some people had said that, but that's like one of the biggest things is that you talk to us and not at us, and you don't act like it's rehearsed, I guess. Like you spoke with actual emotion and like preparedness, but like I don't know how to explain it. I mean, you were there in the moment with us. It wasn't like you just wanted to get it over with too. Like you came to talk to us and that's what you did. And everybody, like there were people crying, there were people laughing. Like I wasn't the only one that was like completely reeled in and not just waiting for it to end. Like I didn't want it to end. Yeah.
That's cool. I get a lot of that. Like they'll
Yeah.
say, I wish we could, you just keep talking." Yeah, and I think that's, thank you for saying that. Part of my motivation is exactly what you just said. I want to talk to you, not at you. I hated the assemblies when we were
Hmm.
kids. I mean, they were just awful. They yelled at us. I mean, basically
Yeah.
tried to scare us into doing the behavior they wanted us to do, and we were too smart for that, and just thought it was stupid, most of the time. So,
Hmm.
and again, like, yeah, you get out of class, so you just kind of tolerated it.
Yeah.
But yeah. And when I first started doing it, I was like, I want to say something that matters. And the second assembly I did for you guys this year, this is the only time that I did the second assembly where kids from your school came up to me and they said, that was better than the first one, which is weird because that never happens. Usually the first one is
Yeah.
like it catches you by surprise. It's like it's very real, it's very honest. You're like, whoa. And the second one, you're like, it's good. But they were saying that it was good because
Hmm.
I think it was just where your school was at. I talked about the four questions that teenagers I think are asking themselves all the time. Should I live? Am I valuable? What do I do with this pressure? And does life get better after it gets hard? And so what was your impression of that assembly?
The second one, my impression, like I thought it was just as good as the first. Like I don't really know if I had a favorite because they were like different. And that was the thing too. I was like, okay, what else could he possibly talk about that's going to be like different, completely new? But even though it was like the same subject, it was still new and it intrigued me. I wasn't bored and I thought it was like just as good as the first one. And I know a lot of people were excited for you to come back. They came into the second one with more excitement than the first one, and then you just delivered that. Like you made it a different thing, but you made it meaningful too. So like nobody was bored, nobody was not looking forward to it because it was something new, and that's I think hard to do. Like obviously I'm not a speaker, but I know that if you have
Not
something
yet,
that you
not yet.
focus on.
I
Oh,
can
not
see
yet.
that. I can see that someday.
Maybe, but if you have something that you like specialize in or you focus on, you can only talk so much about it, and then doing it again, like, it's like it gets repetitive sometimes if you have the same people, but you were definitely not like that, and I really appreciated that.
I appreciate you saying that. I really put a lot of work into that second one because again, I know that you don't want to be repetitive, but I also think that building that rapport, like knowing because I was already there once and kids can trust me, know that I'm not going to be,
Yeah.
just shoveling a bunch of crap at them. That, that I can kind of like get deeper because that's what it was. It was
Yes.
deeper and
Oh yeah.
more into what kids are going through. Speaking of that,
Hmm.
let's chat a little bit about pressure. Like the thing I feel the most empathy for as a speaker when I'm speaking to teenagers is the idea that I don't think most adults truly understand how much pressure you guys are under today versus when they graduated from high school. A lot of parents will come to me and say, "Well, we had pressure too," and I'm like, "No, it's not even close, because of the phones and because of the constant pressure you have. Where we didn't have constant pressure, we had pressure, but we had breaks, we had relief. We
Hmm.
weren't connected to it 24/7." Talk about that a little bit from your perspective.
I think immediately when you say pressure, I kind of think of school and going into my senior year this coming fall, applying to colleges, getting the scholarships, getting the grades, the high GPA, all of it. Um, I know that that's always been a thing, but I think the difference now is that you're not only seeing the people around you, like the colleges they get into, the grades that they get, but you're seeing everyone, people around the world. Like, 4.2 GPAs going into like Harvard, all of these prestigious schools, and they work so hard and they get the best grades, and you're seeing everyone like constantly and not just the people around you. So it's like you said, you don't get a break really. Like when it comes to the time of year, you're applying for scholarships and stuff like that, or like tests are coming up, state tests, all of that. It's a thing on social media, which in a way is good because you don't feel alone in your stress. But in another way, it just adds that extra layer of pressure because you're seeing everyone and not just the people around you.
I never, you know what? I've never thought of it like that. That's I from that perspective. That's very insightful. Wow, that must be crazy. Do you ever feel like I mean, I'm sure you put pressure on yourself because you want to excel and you want to, do the right thing and all that. But do you feel like sometimes like a trophy, like oh, these people just want me to look good to be and I know your parents, so I know they're
Yeah.
not bad people, but I'm just saying generally, let's just do it generally for teenagers how some kids that are in this game right now of trying to apply for colleges and get ready for life, they feel like a trophy, like
Mhm.
I'm my parents proof that they're good people. Is that real?
I think so for sure. Yeah. And I mean, not even just personally, but I have some friends, like, especially with siblings, their siblings, older siblings, will get into a good college. They have all these good scores and everything. So the parents pride themselves on having smart kids or athletic kids or talented in any way kids. And if their older siblings are this perfect example, the parents want to keep it up. So they add extra pressure to the younger siblings. And obviously, I'm the oldest, so I don't know this, but based off of what I've heard from my friends, I know that that's definitely a thing. Like just wanting to be as good or better as someone that you're really close to and related to just because of the fact that your parents pride themselves on having smart kids, athletic kids, talented kids, you know.
Yeah. And then there's that, if you get a B instead of an A, or don't hit the winning shot or whatever, you don't measure up to that standard.
Yep.
There's that, big disappointment that they have on the
Hmm.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so let's talk about the school, like school culture. One of the things I talk about a lot in schools is that every day you wake up, you have to walk into that school and there's that judgment, right? I mean,
Hmm.
you just feel it. Whether it's real, whether it's coming as intense as you think it is from people, or it's just perceived in your head. There's that thing where you walk in, as soon as you walk into Blue Hill High School, it's like, oh, it's showtime. Um, what do I mean by that? Do you think when I say it's showtime?
I think, well, for me personally, I kind of interpret it as like you are putting on a face. So if you're not happy, you're going to act happy. If you're not excited about something, you're going to act excited about something. If you're not okay, you're going to act okay because people will judge you if you're not okay and if you're not happy. So you have to put on this face, you have to pretend, um, because that's just how they want you to be. And it's not even just the students, it's the teachers. Like, they know you don't want to be there, but if you act like you don't want to be there, then there's problems, you know? So you just always have to kind of pretend that you're more into it than you are, or you're more happy than you are, or something like that.
Does that, I think personally that wears kids out. I think it wears them
For
out.
sure.
So what,
Yeah.
what do I mean by that, you think? Like, when do I say
It
wear
gets
out, like
tiring.
emotionally? What's that?
Emotionally, I mean, it gets tiring. Like, I do one act and stuff, and I love pretending to be other people. But when you are pretending to be someone you're not every single day, emotionally it takes a toll on you because you're not yourself and you're not being yourself, and your mind knows that, and it messes with you because in a way I think you can lose some self-confidence with that because if you're constantly pretending to be somebody that you're not for the sake of other people, then your brain's going to tell you that you have to be someone that you're not, and you have to keep going, you have to keep pretending, and then you just get tired of it. Like, it just wears you down completely, I think.
Yeah. I think there's a difference when I do a school in, let's say, August or September. It's different because kids come to school, they have Christmas in their eyes. They're just all "Ooh,"
Hmm.
ready to go. When I do a school around February, March, like right now, kids are worn out. Like they're just tired. I did a school in Lincoln, Nebraska last year where a girl who's a D1 athlete actually is a amazing athlete is going to a prestigious college to play volleyball. She came right down and just started crying and just collapsed, and we got her some help and she's all good now. But it was around February, and it was just
Yeah.
I think that what you just said, that whole year of the, when you get to February, you've been in school for like 6 months and you're under that constant pressure of putting on a show. If you don't feel good, you got to act good and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so when I say, um, one of the goals for Value Up is to help create a safe, emotionally safe environment. Not just as like we're not into the school safety. I mean, we're into it, but my job isn't to like lock the doors and put cameras up. That's somebody else's job, and that's good. I'm glad we have people doing that. But my job and what I feel like my obligation is in schools is to help a culture, help kids feel like that school can become an emotionally safe place. Do you think that's important?
I think it's really important because, in a way, making an emotionally safe place, you're also making a physically safe place because we know, based off of things that have happened in the past, it's unstable environments, it's people that don't get help, it's people that get bullied or harassed for something that kind of just lose control and things happen, like school shootings can happen, suicides can happen, and those are obviously physical things that aren't safe. So by creating an emotionally safe environment, you're also creating a physically safe environment. So they go together. So you can't have a physically safe environment if you don't first create an emotionally safe environment. So I think it's perfect that you guys are doing that.
That's awesome. One of the things that I say all the time is, and I'll just ask you this. On a
Mhm.
scale of 1 to 10, so 10 being that every kid in the school feels like they're valuable. Like if every kid in your school was a 10, they knew they were a 10, 1 being they don't feel very valuable. And I'm not talking about socially valuable. I'm talking about intrinsically, like they know they're valuable on the inside. And every kid walked around as a 10. What would it do to the hallways of the school? How would it affect the culture of the school if every kid knew their true value? Do you think?
People would be nicer, first of all, because when you're down on yourself, you get down on others. That's just how it works. So people would be nicer to others. People wouldn't judge others, so we wouldn't judge ourselves. I think in terms of the school environment, grades would improve because we don't have like the pressure. We know we're enough no matter what, so we just try our best. Athletics would improve because, again, the same thing. We don't have that pressure. We know that we're a 10. Our value is important no matter what, even if we get benched or we don't make a shot or we don't get an A. So I think everything overall would improve. The kindness, the grades, the sports, everything that is involved with the school would improve if everybody knew how valuable they were.
Delaney, I can't even like I couldn't set it better. Like that was awesome. Yeah, thank you. We're about out of time. We're gonna go up to like 20 minutes, but man, thank you so much. Delaney, is there
Yeah.
anything you want to say just to kind of wrap us up here?
Um, Mike is the best speaker, and
Didn't even pay her.
that's, yeah. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I
That's
really
all.
appreciated coming on here, and I really appreciate you talking to me and you taking the time and making it your work to talk to students and help them because we need that, especially today. So thank you for that.
You are welcome. And listen, those of you that are watching this, um, leave a comment. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of Delaney coming on. I think we should have her every week. I don't know about you guys, but she's pretty articulate and offers a lot of wisdom. She's a good kid. I mean, I remember when we did the assembly afterwards, we had a little chat, and it was she's a sharp kid. So we'd love to have her on more. Maybe every week she could be the co-host.
Yeah.
So leave the comments. Let us know what you think. All right. Okay. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week on Monday Night with Mike. Hopefully, Delaney will be with us, especially if you
Yes.
want her there. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.